Good morning. Welcome back to the farm. Let's do a little scouting today. Crops are up and growing. We've had a crazy 3 weeks here on the farm getting stuff planted and off to a good start, and things are growing quite well. Let's see. Let's take a look. So you can see our little baby corn plants here. We have our first leaf. It has a rounded leaf tip on all of them. That's how you can tell it's the first leaf. And if we count leaf collars, we can see 1, 2. Our third leaf here is out, but does not have a leaf collar. So we would call this V2 corn. And it looks really good. Grow it real well. Stand looks excellent. I'm really happy with it. As we're scouting through fields and stuff, it's really helpful to know how much rainfall that we have had in different places. And our farm is a little bit spread out. As you guys know, we farm here at the home farm, right? This is near Waldron, Michigan. But we also farm where my dad grew up. That's about 35 miles east here. It's my grandpa's house and farms that we've had in our family for some of them 100 years. Well, the rainfall can vary drastically between those locations. And even just around here, we go 10 miles in that direction. We go a couple miles to the north. Last summer when we were irrigating, the field that we irrigate is 2.5 miles north of us. And there was times when it would be raining here, I would go to shut off the irrigation and the ground would be dry there. We didn't get any rain. Well, I have found an app, it's called Precip, and it gives hyper-local rainfall and snowfall data so that we can tell by location how much rain and precipitation we've had at different locations. It's really cool information. The Precip app here, I can zoom into exactly where I'm standing and it will tell me how much rainfall, wherever that crosshair is. Plus I have pre-saved locations, one at the home farm there, and as we zoom out, we have one up at our irrigated field. We have some at other fields that we have, the ones that are a few miles away, all the way to our fields over here in Berkey that are a longer distance away. This allows me to track how much rainfall that we get at all of these different locations, and it will give me historical data. You can see here how much rain we've had in the past 7 days. We can see the past 12 hours. We can see the future of the next 12 hours and how much is forecasted. Same for 24 hours, and much more maps with things like month to date. We can see soil moisture. That's a different map. That's on the maps page. We can see current temperatures. We can see soil moistures. And for all of our different saved locations, this is going to be super helpful for us and for me when I'm trying to figure out where it rained, how much it rained, what fields are more likely to be dry, ready for field work than other ones. It tells me and helps me understand where to go to look for conditions that might be fit versus just guessing or saying, I think it rained more here or I think it rained a little bit more there. With the Precip app, we can know for sure what areas got more or less rain and would be more or less likely to be fit to work. Precip also has detailed forecasts and tells us our next precipitation is not likely until next Friday, which is almost a whole week out. Gives estimated rainfall amounts for each of the days when there is forecasted rain, high and low temperatures, including a live radar. All kinds of really, really good information. I think this might be my new favorite weather app. So even if you're not a farmer, if you're trying to plan things like an outdoor activities, a hike, a bike ride, you got a sporting event to go to or something, and you want to know whether it's going to rain, how much it's going to rain, how much it did rain at any location, you can look that up on the map. Right now our wheat crop could really use a little bit of rain, so I'm kind of hoping for some, and according to Precip, we're not going to get any for at least another 6 days. So it's pretty good information to have. Like I said, really, really helpful for me and for farmers when our fields start to get spread out over several different miles. Rainfall can vary a lot. So thank you to Precip, and if you'd like to check the app out, you can download it from the App Store or the link down in the description. Now, while we're out here in this wheat field, let's take a look here a little bit. Let's see what we've got. So you can still see we've got a few anthers out here. I'm guessing we're pretty well through pollination at this point, and just kind of haven't had the rain and wind to knock those off. The heads are starting to fill and stretch out here a little bit. I wonder if I can pull one of those spikelets apart and find a little baby kernel in there. Let's see. Ah, yes, right there is our little baby wheat kernel. Got a lot of growing and developing to do yet. Perfect time for some rain, but you take what you get. So overall, wheat crop looks really, really good. We've had great weather for it up to this point. We do still have moisture in the soil. We're not super dry yet, so it'll be okay. It'll make it for another week or so, but we certainly wouldn't turn some rain down on a really good wheat crop right now. Finish it off. Now, let's walk across the road here and take a look at some soybeans. This is our soybean plot we planted in 30-inch rows, and boy, do they look good. Starting to look really nice. You get those unifoliate leaves out, they start widening out the rows so you can see them really well. Super happy with them. Let's look a little closer here. All right, so here is our soybean plant. You can see our bottom leaves, we'll call them leaves, they're not really leaves, they're called cotyledons. That's actually what was the soybean seed. It pushes itself up through the soil, and the halves of the soybean spread apart, form these cotyledons. They turn green when they start getting some sunlight, and then the growing point emerges from there. And then here we have our unifoliate leaves, single leaf. The first two leaves on a soybean plant are always unifoliate leaves, okay? And then you can see on this one, we're just starting to unfold that trifoliate. So from here on, the leaves will come out in groups of 3. We call those trifoliates. And the first one is just starting to develop. So once that trifoliate gets totally emerged, we would call that a V1 soybean plant, vegetative growth stage 1. Right now, there's a VU for unifoliate, I think is what the growth stage is. I'm not 100% sure of that, but as far as health of the beans, these plants look really, really good. We've got a little bit of dirt on them. What is that? We do have a spot there. Not sure what that is. It almost looks like frog eye, but it's way too early for that, and we don't really get frog eye this far north, so I'd be shocked if that was it. We do see a little bit of burn on these cotyledons. It's possible some herbicide damage there. And then right here, I've got a hole in a leaf, most likely from a bean leaf beetle. I have seen a couple of bean leaf beetles flying around or landing on some stuff, so that's certainly something that it could be. Now, we put Cruiser Max or Cruiser insecticide on the seed treatment of these beans. That will, in fact, control these early season bean leaf beetles, but they do have to ingest a little bit of it. It is a systemic insecticide, gets inside the leaf tissue of the plant. Once that bean leaf beetle eats a little bit of it, he probably died. So what we got going on here? Got one that didn't unfurl quite right. Actually, there's 2 there. They're gonna make it still, just a little behind. Not a big deal. And then I looked over this next row, and I'm looking down here, and wait, what's that? What's that? What's that? Ha! Those are pumpkins. Those are volunteer pumpkins from last year. I should tell my wife we should come out here and dig them up and go plant them somewhere, because they aren't going to live out here in the soybean field. But yeah, last year we had pumpkins in these ends. These are pretty far off. I wonder if we had a rotten one we threw out here or something, and the seeds grew. So that's interesting. Anyway, I'm really happy with where our crops are at. Early season, everything looks really good. We're actually going to head to Berkey now and go check out the crops down there. We've got some corn and beans that were planted a little bit later than these fields were, but should be up and looking really good. We've got that really interesting stuff going on with our row spacing on our beans with split planted rows, 30-inch rows, and then the diamond planted rows. So kind of want to go check that out and see what stuff looks like. So we'll see you down there. It's a little windy today. And chilly. I mean, it's not cold, but it's like 70 and windy, so it's a little chilly, so I put a long sleeve shirt on. Anyway, we've made it to our Berkey farm here. So, let's walk out and take a look at this corn. This was planted, I'd have to look at the calendar, probably a week after the stuff that we looked at back at Waldron there in the plot field. That field was planted on a Monday. This would have been planted on, oh, it wasn't a week. This would have been planted on Saturday. So Monday to Saturday. So 5 days difference in planting date. Definitely different ground conditions. We've had more rain here since planting. We've probably had 0.8 of an inch of rain here since planting versus 0.4 on that home stuff. I can tell you if I looked at my precip map. Anyway, we're about the same growth stage, maybe just a touch behind. About the same. So we've got our first leaf, rounded tip. This one's got a little herbicide damage on it. And then we have our second leaf, or our first and second leaf collar, no third leaf collar. This is also a V2 corn plant. But we do see a little herbicide damage here. So Dad came down here, what day was it we sprayed this corn? He was down here spraying earlier, and then we got rained out. We got that little bit of rain, and we had to wait a few days for stuff to dry out. You can see over here he did cut a little bit of a track in a couple spots with the sprayer. Today's Saturday, Wednesday. Maybe it was Wednesday he came down here and finished up the corn. So it's been 4 days, and anything that got some herbicide on it, you're gonna get a little yellow flash, but it should grow out of that. Nothing I'm too concerned about. So anyway, let's see if we can dig one of these plants up. We definitely got more of a crust here. The soil's had more rain, so it's got a little bit. It's washed in a little bit more than what ours has up to Waldron. Ooh, we're breaking roots off already. Nice. Really nice. Okay. Beautiful root system out here. You can see the seed there. I'm trying to break the dirt off without breaking all the roots, but not being successful. Anyway, there is our seed that we planted, and we have our main radical root is this one, and then we have the seminal roots coming out of the top side of the seed, and then we have our first nodal roots here. This ring of roots around the base of the plant is nodal roots, and those are going to feed the majority of the nutrients into this plant as it continues to grow. The root system looks nice and healthy, and like I said, we broke a bunch of them off, but really, really happy with where our corn sits right now. Stand actually is meh. It's okay. It's not great here. We've got a skip here. We've got a double skip here. This one is trying to come, but kind of got stuck under the crust a little bit. We'll help him along. But we got another one missing here. Are we missing the seed, or do we just... What's the deal? Oh, right there's the seed. It started to grow. It's still kind of trying to grow. So maybe not perfect planting conditions when we were out here, causing some of that. It'll be okay. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Looks really good looking down the rows. Driving down here, I did drive past the soybean fields, and you can see the patterns and how bad I did of trying to split middles in some of those fields. If I get a chance, we'll drive over there, but we're actually here for a graduation party, and there's a whole bunch of cars, and I don't know if I can get over there real easy, but we'll try. Let's check out the beans down here to Berkey. So these are our no-tilled soybeans, no-tilled with the 30-inch row planter, but we double planted. This one we split the middles to try and get 15-inch rows. It's not great here. Look at this. So these are the ends. We can definitely see the 30-inch rows. Oh, maybe we just planted off. Oh, yeah. Okay, so see down there farther? You can see the beans in the middle of the row, and then they kind of converge because I can't drive straight. That's okay. Let's get out here into the middle of the field where the rows kind of run on an angle. There we are. Rows run this way on an angle. And yeah, we can see our 15-inch rows. So we've got beans here. We've got beans here. Let me zoom back out. There we go. They're not perfect by any means, but they should be okay. The farther you get off the ends, the better. The auto steer should have worked. I was concerned about this row in the middle, and they look like they're going to make it just fine. So we planted this row and this row the second pass, and it threw all the trash. Our row cleaners kind of threw that over into this middle row, but they're here. They're coming. So stand's probably not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough. Let's see. Same as the ones up to Waldron, basically. We've got our cotyledons down here that are nice and green and healthy. Our unifoliate leaves, and we're just starting that trifoliate leaf out. These look okay. Let's walk across the road. That's our diamond pattern. Let's see if we can see it. Oh, one other note. You'll notice there is a fair bit of weeds and green out here. Dad sprayed these earlier in the week, and he did put some glyphosate in, so this is dying, and it'll look better in a week. All right, across the road, we've got the ends that we tried to plant between the rows and again failed to do so. Oh gosh, that's terrible. It was hard to tell, okay? But once we get out here, yeah. Oh, this is cool. This is cool. Okay, so we can see rows going that way and that way. It's not a real sharp diamond, but it's definitely a crisscross pattern. Let's walk out here where we can see it divergent. So right here, they're together, and then these rows split. They split, they split, they split, and get to their widest point, and then they narrow back up and come back together and converge. That's cool. That's cool. I have no idea if this is gonna work. This is gonna look really, really cool from the drone in about 3 weeks, and we're gonna fly that and show it. Right now it's a little hard to see with all the residue out here, but they're definitely planted on a diamond pattern, and you can see it. So I don't know. Same thing. Beans look good. Still got some pushing through this crust. Yeah, it's gonna work. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, thanks for watching this one today. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Check out the link for the Precip. Download that app. I think it's going to be pretty cool and super handy for what we're doing. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, give the channel a follow. Thumbs up the video for me. I appreciate that. We'll see you guys tomorrow.